New America.
I'm so excited.
Are we here?
Yeah.
Are we on? Yay! We did it.
Okay, now it's over. We can be done.
That's it. That's it.
All right, good. Hi, and welcome to Talkward. I'm Marty Dundix, and this is Talkward, a fun little podcast where professionally funny people come to tell awkward and cringeworthy stories. I'm very excited about my guest today. This is her second appearance on Talkward. She was here a little over a year ago. She is just like a comedy media mogul machine. She's constantly producing and creating new platforms and shows and things. So welcome back to Talkward, Brittany Brave.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Comedy media mogul machine. I don't deserve that. Come on.
You're so active, though. You're so busy doing all these like cool projects. The first time you came in, you were doing a project with doing a thing called Cat Call.
Right. Yes.
And there was a collective group, so far. And I went out to a show in Queens.
Woodside. For our 1 year anniversary.
Yeah. That was a great show.
Thank you.
And since then you do a lot of things. You do like a tarot card show, a QED.
I do.
Which I still want to go to.
Yeah, it's fun. It's Improvised tarot.
Yeah.
It's comedians bullshit tarot readings for audience members. And then there's a psychic there.
And you produce that show?
Yes, I came up with it and I produce it.
And there's a lot of great people on that show. You booked that show too?
I do, yeah.
Is that monthly?
It is. Now it's bi-monthly at QED every Sunday. It's the second Sunday of the month at 8:30. And we have a lot of returning players. We have like a main kind of cast that we cycle through. But then every other month I bring new comedians and improvisers on. And it's a great time. We deal with some real life problems too.
So you're doing readings from people in the audience?
Yeah.
So you're really reliant on that audience.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. The first show was a little bit, it took a second to crack everybody open and kind of get them like ready to go.
What if no one comes?
Oh, then I guess we don't have a show.
Has that happened?
No, not yet. Fortunately.
Wow.
Yeah. We have, I think it's just Astoria is like really nice and communal, and like QED is such a great following.
Yeah.
And I do think, by no means tooting my own horn, but I think like tarot's really popular now in astrology.
And that's with the cards, and that's with the people on the cards.
Yeah.
And how many different cards are there in tarot?
Oh God, that's a good question.
Is it more than 10?
I should know this. Definitely more than 10.
Okay.
There's like a major arcana and a minor arcana. I should know this. I think it's upwards of like 70 cards. That feels about right.
So it's more than a playing card deck.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And they and I like that hippy dippy shit. I regret it. This is where everyone tunes out. No,
that's where people tune in. They lean into that.
I hope so. Yeah.
This isn't boring.
Yeah, that's true. I don't care. I don't, this planet exhausts me, so I pay more attention to the other ones. Yeah, 4 or 5 rounds, 2 comedians each round. I host it, and we get an audience volunteer. They dump a problem, a burning question on us, and then we deal the cards, but the comedians do the tarot reading. And,
So it's all just kind of made up, funny
It's
stuff.
absolute bullshit. It's crowd work. It's improv, too.
Have they ever gotten close?
All the time.
Really?
Without even trying. Sometimes they just read the cards very well, and then other times they're so far off it's comical.
And then you could also be like, oh, this is how they do it for real. Like you can it's the power of suggestion. So it's like you can make a general comment, and then the person will zero in on this specificity of that generalization and be like, oh my God, you got it exactly right. I do have a dog named Arthur.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, how did that happen?
Of course. That's exactly what I meant.
That's exactly what I was saying this entire time. Yeah. It's just funny though, because when they do get it right, they're not using their intuitive powers at all. They're just like literally, and it's so funny. So many recurring jokes every show, even with a new cast of comedians. Every time you pull a card that has swords or wands, it's a dick joke comes up every single time. There's a lot of naked women on the tarot cards, and everyone's always like, well, this is a very big-breasted woman. Good things are coming to you. You know, it's always the same.
Plentifulness is on its way.
Yeah. And then there's a chariot card, so everyone makes a joke about Gavin DeGraw and his #1 hit single from many years ago, Chariot. So it's, we have our own little callbacks on the show.
That's fun.
It's fun. And then a psychic comes in at the end and actually makes sense.
A legit psychic.
Yes.
So you get a legit psychic every time?
Yeah. It's kind of a great deal for audience members because it's like $8.
Yeah.
And they get like a comedy show, and we give away a free drink if you get a reading, and they get a tarot reading at the end. The psychic is like...
That's a good deal.
It's a great deal. It's very big with date nights, very big with girls' nights.
Yeah.
We've done couples readings. We've had drunk people come on stage and be like, I just went through a breakup.
Yeah.
What's happening? And it's like, oh, and it's just fun.
And it's an uplifting thing either way.
Yeah. It's
I'm
fun.
going to come out for that one. The last time I came out to Queens was for that catcall show.
That was the last time you were in Queens?
I don't go to Queens.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
I'm a Park Sloper. It's far.
He's the Park Sloper,
I mean,
everybody.
well, there's like Brooklyn, and then there's like this is my Brooklyn, and then there's Williamsburg,
Yeah.
which is a totally different Brooklyn, and then there's Long Island City, and then there's Queens.
Yeah.
So it's like it is far because they don't make it easy. I got to go all the way into like Union Square, and then all the way over.
Oh, yeah.
Or all the way up, and then over to like Queens.
Yeah.
That's like the whole line. That's like me taking the whole queue
Yeah.
all the way to the end.
I know. I teach improv in Park Slope, and it's always like very long for me to get.
And you never call.
I know. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I need to.
Now you know.
Now that I know it's your Brooklyn, I like how you said there's my Brooklyn and then Williamsburg, and I'm like, okay, Marty owns Brooklyn. Everybody.
I just like this one little. It's like a 3-block zone. That's like my Mr. Rogers neighborhood of
I love it.
It's Mr. Marty's neighborhood, and it's just I walk down the street. There's my my hardware store man, who's this old Greek guy that has every day he wears suspenders that look like tape measures.
Oh, I live in Astoria. I love old Greek men. Yeah.
Hello, my friend.
Hello.
My friend. Hello, good morning, sir. Hello, Victor. And there's like this guy who works with Johnny. Hello, Johnny. Hey, guy in the dry cleaning place. Hey, this guy. They're like, hello. It's
Won't you be my neighbor?
Yeah, it's great. If I walk to the 2-3 at the right time of day up Fifth Avenue, I run into all the shop owners as they're opening their shops.
Yeah.
And it's just like, hey.
Do they curtsy and ball change out of the doors of their
That'd be
businesses?
fun.
And they're all animated.
My whole life
way.
is a musical. There's birds and squirrels kind of dancing around me.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, well maybe I'll read.
I've been alone too long.
My imagination is officially out of control.
A little bit.
Yeah. Brooklyn to Queens is like I joke about that. The dating. I'm like, that's a long distance relationship.
It is.
It really is. You're
I think I would rather match up with somebody in Philadelphia than like I want to say what's even further, like Hamilton Heights.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Where you're like, Hamilton Heights. Where is that?
Someone had just introduced me to Inwood. I had never heard of Inwood the other day.
Inwood is far.
And I was like, that's Long Island, right? And they were like, it may as well be.
I mean, Inwood is far.
Far, yeah.
But if you talk to them, they're like, it's still Manhattan.
Oh,
of
course, yeah. And you're like, okay.
Like, sure it is.
Yeah. You're like, I don't know. It has a different vibe. Nobody travels.
Isn't that like 250th Street?
I think it's like, isn't it very close to the Bronx?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not Manhattan. It's not. If you can't get Sparrow pizza and not everything's lit up, it's not Manhattan.
Sparrow
pizza. Culture, everybody.
Small pizza. It's right next to the Panda Express.
It is. I always say I feel like I am like Sparrow pizza personified because I'm very Italian, but my name is Brittany, so you'd never guess it. So I'm not authentic. I'm like mall pizza. Sparrow pizza.
Yeah, you got the Sparrows. There's a Taco Bell. There's a Panda Express.
Yeah.
And then you go over and you're going to sneak all that into the movies.
Yeah. And you have me. It's your little taste of culture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of stuff happening. So I saw you a year ago, and you were working on the catcall stuff, and
which is since folded.
It's folded.
I put it on.
Fold. It developed into something new. So this was something you did. It was it was a lot of work, and then you because of that. You turned it into this.
You're making me feel better about it.
So it turned into the violently funny brand.
Yeah.
And now, how did that come about? Because you have another comedian that you work with, so you have a partner, and these are live shows and a podcast. So let's talk about how did the podcast start? How did you meet her? What's the whole thing?
I gotcha. Yeah, that's an interesting way of looking at it. I feel like the feminine energy went from catcall to violently funny. Interesting. Yeah, so violently funny is that is a good way of putting it. The other day I was like, I don't know what to do with catcall anymore. I just think I got to put a pin in it and that's it. Anyways, violently funny.
So catcall went from like catcall, like wink wink to don't you fucking say that to me.
Literally, yeah. Someone the other day was like, is that dead? I was like, don't bring it up. Don't speak of the dead that way.
It's got a black eye.
It does.
It's got 2 black eyes.
Get it? Violently funny. No, Violently Funny is a podcast at its core. But obviously we do live shows too, and now I guess we're like a comedic duo. I'm a survivor of domestic violence, as is comedian Onika McLean.
Yep.
This time last year, we met performing at Safe Horizon, a benefit show for women and children who are victims of domestic violence. And it was like a female empowerment day where we got to do comedy and cheer them up and talk about DV and related issues. And Onika and I, like, by the way, side note, hardest comedy show I've ever done, right? we had a conversation up front, and we were like, okay, so are we doing comedy? Do these people want to hear comedy?
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah. No, make them laugh. We want to bring comedy in. And we're like, all right, so is it anything off the table?
Yeah.
And they were like, no. They know laugh.
People say that.
And we're like, are you sure? And they're like, no, it's going to be a good day. We're going to have food and drinks. It's going to be great. And I walked in halfway through Onika's set, and it was a much smaller setup, much more intimate. And Onika, who, by the way, is hilarious, love her, wouldn't work with her if I didn't think so. I could hear a pin drop during her set. And by the time I walked in, I was like, she's not really telling jokes. It's just kind of shifted into funny but inspirational.
Was it more just like talking truth?
That's what it evolved into. And I remember we locked eyes from across the room, and she was like, and I was like, yep, okay, reading the room. Yeah, so, and it's just, they weren't ready to laugh, the women, and which makes sense. So we switched gears. I was sweating bullets during my set. The second I was like, jokes aren't going to work here. Let's just be myself and talk and connect with people.
Break it down, folks.
Lay it down. And we just, I don't know, we bonded, and we realized our stories had a lot in common, and we were like, domestic violence isn't talked about a lot. What if we created a show, a podcast that made it, not make intimate partner violence fun, but, make it digestible.
So what's a typical, how long are the episodes, and you have guests?
Yes.
And who have the guests been, and what do you guys talk about?
Yeah, so we...
Does the guest have to be someone who's been in a relationship that's been like that?
For the most part, yeah.
Okay.
They have some connection to it, or some related connection to sexual or domestic violence in some way. They're for anywhere from 45 minutes to just shy of 2 hours, so we do try.
And you do it at the
comic strip. Yeah, we record. Shout out the comic strip. Great place, great location.
Nice facilities.
Very nice facility. Yeah, and our producer Adam is wonderful too. They have been, usually the core tenet is domestic violence, or like exposing unhealthy, not just a dating podcast, but unhealthy and toxic dating patterns. But obviously it's a complicated issue, so it bleeds into like body positivity, sex work, reproductive rights, feminism, dating in general, so on and so forth. And it's, usually everyone is a survivor, or we have people on who just are really strong, successful women and have stories about how they like broke through barriers in their industry or unique career paths and stuff. So we had Dr. Georgia Whitkin. She was on CNBC, Fox, CBS. She is she's a professor. She leads up psychology and OBGYN practices at Mount Sinai, writes for Psychology Today, has penned like 13 books. She was great. Then we had Erica Pittman, who was a big exec at Viacom and helped found Revolt TV with P. Diddy. Like, she's one who isn't necessarily directly affected by DV, but has an incredible career story, and it ranges. It's guests for a couple episodes, and then sometimes it's just me and Onika checking in and catching up. But yeah, there's the usual tenet that brings us all together. Tenet is like,
and do you have topics? Like, do you say this is going to be the topic for this entire episode? Is it like a one topic, or just kind of like a chat?
It's just a chat. Okay. It's whatever is unique to that person's story. Like I said, we've had someone who was a DV survivor, but then the conversation became a lot about eating disorders and fat shaming and body dysmorphia and things like that. So that's a great episode, because now it's related audiences, related topics. And then we had another DV survivor who's also a porn star, Minnie Scarlett. She's wonderful.
Interesting.
And then it was also now sex work came into it, and how sex work.
Positive.
Sex positive. And these things are all interrelated, and it's never a black and white issue.
Who am I thinking of? There is, in this building, there's a PR agency, and they do PR for a kind of a feminist porn company.
Cool. Okay.
It's like created by, it's for women. It's like porn directors are women.
Vixen?
I think is it Erica Lust?
I don't know who the person is, but I know Vixen is the website that's it's like directed by women, I think, if I'm not.
And it's all like very natural. It's not all like, glammed up.
Now we're sharing nighttime routines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're in the building, and they have like the funnest toys and topics that I'll like walk by. I'm like, what's going on here? They're very fun.
Yeah.
And they're very sex positive, and there's like images and posters that are all like very it's like very artistic,
yeah,
kind of art house film, adult stuff, and you're like, oh, this is actually very, very beautiful, body positive stuff.
Well done porn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not all,
yeah.
it looks non-CGI'd.
Yeah, it's
or
not all
enhanced.
anal with my stepdad, then he punches me in the face. Porn, which, listen.
It's deeper than that.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Because then they also talk about their feelings.
Yeah. Which, if you talked about it afterwards, you would feel better. No. Just kidding. Totally kidding. Yeah, we have a sponsor on our podcast too, Plus One Vibrators.
Oh, nice.
Again, too, very sex positive.
Yeah.
Just very, the pleasure shouldn't be a luxury. So they're like very affordable, accessible sex toys.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not, I love the brand. It's just a down to earth. This is what it's for.
Yeah.
Invite a little pleasure. We love them and they're a huge supporter of the show.
So you get to give one out every episode?
Yeah, we do giveaways every episode. And
That's
then
nice.
Yeah, the girls love it. A lot of girls, we've had some people have their first orgasms through it, which is
Really?
always fun, or their first sex toy, and we love those things just as much too.
That's exciting. So how long,
Yeah.
how many episodes do you have of Violently Funny?
We have a season 1 with 10 episodes under our belt.
Wow, that's great.
Yes, from last year, October to December, and then we just started season 2, and then we have our live recording.
Yes, so let's talk about your live show. That's going to be the 31st
Yes.
at Caveat.
Yes.
What time?
7 to 8:30 p.m.
Okay. Tickets are on sale now.
Right now, $15 pre-sale, $20 at the door.
Mm-hmm.
Whole variety.
I'm going to go.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'll go.
I hope so. It's going to be a really good time.
If it's not in Queens, I'll go.
It's not in Queens. It's very close to here.
I go to Caveat. I was at Caveat last night for another show.
Love that venue very
Serious
much.
Matters. And I go there for another show called A Night of Humorist Readings, which is a great comedy reading show. So it's more about people that write comedy for the New Yorker or McSweeney's or whatever, and then they read their stuff. It's very good.
Yeah.
And then there's another show there.
Modern Whitney.
There was one last night after the show I was there called Sketchy History.
Okay.
And Victoria Hoffman was there for that.
Very cool.
And then I saw her after at the bar around the corner. She's so nice.
Yeah, great.
She's so funny.
Yeah.
And you also do stand-up comedy.
I do.
So what stand-up comedy are you up to doing now?
Just, getting up every night.
Are you getting up every night?
Yeah.
And you're going to be at Old Man Hustle tonight.
Tonight.
If people are listening to this live, which in theory they could be.
Oh, really?
If they were,
that changes everything.
If they were at weeklyhumorist.com/live, this is a live stream.
Come and stalk me.
People could go to Old Man Hustle and see Brittany Brave.
Please stalk me. It's the highest form of flattery.
Have you
it's
had
the only way I'll know you're
comedy
interested.
stalkers before?
I've definitely had. Yeah, I have had people like show up at shows. I've had guys. This is a weird one. Guys that I've definitely been dodging dates with see me post my show dates and then show up and kind of ambush me. And then afterwards, they're like, "You were great," and I'm like, "Ah!" Like when I see them at the venue.
I mean, it's nice that you were great and that you have an audience member.
They're a fan. I say all the creepers that slide into the DMs, 2020. We're turning trolls into ticket sales in 2020. That's just what we're doing.
Buy a ticket, buy at least a couple of drinks.
That's what I'm saying.
And then don't talk to me after the show.
But they try to trap me into hanging out with them. They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, hey," and like, "What are you doing now? You want to go grab a drink?" And I'm like, "No, I'm going home, man. You can't. Yeah, don't trap me on my job."
Yeah.
But on that note, the only way I'll ever know if someone's interested is if they're stalking me and suffocating me. So 2 spots tonight at Old Man Hustle, 8 and 10 p.m.
Double header for
and
you.
then a show in Bushwick. I don't know the place's name at 9. So if you're in Brooklyn, you can come and kill me. If you're in Manhattan, you can come and kill me.
I feel like sometimes the shows that are out in the middle of nowhere, it's like there's this great show. It's down the hall to the left. You go in the broom closet. You go down those stairs, and it's this great show in like this sub basement next to the boiler, but not that boiler, the other boiler.
And if you smell what is it, formaldehyde? It's like it's okay. It's next to. If you're smelling bombing fluid, it's next to a funeral home. It's
wink
fine.
at this, and then you can get in. It's the best show in town. You're like, what are you talking about?
I have been on those shows that are in and it's always Bushwick, by the way, too. That it's in an unmarked building, down the stair, left to right, and then you have to say like a secret code word, and it's donation, and it reeks of weed.
And then you go in, and you're like,
I bomb.
And you're like, wow, Jim Gaffigan and Jerry Seinfeld are here.
This
like,
is
what the
wild.
hell? This place is a great show.
And by the way, we all bomb because it's Bushwick, and Bushwick doesn't want to laugh at anything. So.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah,
I
don't know.
Bad audience members?
I think I just do well. I do, but yeah, fuck Bushwick. Yeah, fuck Brooklyn, kind of. Fuck you, Brooklyn, a little bit. I have way better shows in Manhattan, Harlem, Bronx, Queens, everything else. Something about Brooklyn, not all the time, but certain rooms. It's just don't say that. Yeah, she's too short and loud.
I've seen some good. It's fun following all of the comedy shows because you can't go to all of these comedy shows. Right?
Yeah.
There's too many.
Yeah, yeah.
You want to go to a bunch of
telling
them,
me.
and you're like, I can't go to all these shows, but you see them on Instagram stories.
Right.
So I like seeing what I missed, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll go to that one.
Bookmark
next
it for
time.
later.
Yeah,
right.
I'm like, next time I'm going to go to that show. Next time. But there are a couple that I want to. There's one up in Harlem that looks really good. I think it's called Harlem Nights.
Harlem Nights is a great comedy bar.
Yeah.
Joe Hill runs a great room there every Wednesday.
I want to go there. I want to go to the Barbershop.
Barbershop comedy is a good one,
That
too.
looks really good.
Shrine is good in Harlem. They have a brunch show.
I want to go to Butterboy at Littlefield, which is hilarious that I haven't been because I live literally 2 blocks away from it.
Gotta get there.
I know.
It's too close.
I think this is on Monday nights, and I think I'm obviously watching The Bachelor on Monday nights, so
Marty, you break my heart.
I gotta watch it.
Prior to recording, Marty says, "Do you watch The Bachelor?" And I said, "No." Do you? And he said, "Oh my God, yes."
I
was like, "Oh, Marty."
So bad. It's so bad. It's good.
We have guilty pleasure shows.
It's great.
Have you seen that show on Netflix, The Circle? It looks so infinitely stupid.
You're probably like the 10th person who's told me about the show in 2 days.
I have not watched it. For
Everyone
listeners at home.
everyone loves it. My one friend, Josiah, said that he loved it because he thought that it was scripted, which made it genius. And then people at his office were like, no, it's not scripted.
It's reality.
It's reality. He goes, there's no way this is reality. So because of that take, I want to see it just because
just to see what it's like.
It seems so like it couldn't possibly be real. So I want to watch it because of
it seems like a total farce of itself. It seems like a total
it sounds like a Black Mirror episode.
I think
right?
it's
real.
But it's real, and I think it's just too on the nose with how people are.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the real world, right? From my understanding, but they live in different rooms of a house, and they don't get to actually see each other. They only interact through what likens. It's similar to like a dating app. They only interact through an app,
like a chat.
A chat.
Okay.
And they only share what they want and connect on that app when they want. And I'm like, this is too on the nose.
Could one of the members just be an AI bot? Like a chat bot?
They're probably all
Wouldn't
chat
that be great
bots.
if they were all chat bots? Like, this is the Target.com chat bot.
Yes.
This is the, Esurance chat bot. And they're all just talking to each other, and we're watching it.
Yeah, that's it. I think so. I think it's everyone in customer service at FedEx. I think. That's what it is. That's who they got and who they pulled.
That'd be funny.
Or it's the people
I'd watch that show.
who are going to replace us in 10 years. The robots that are going to replace 10 years, 2 years. It's not for me. It's a little too millennial for me.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I'll watch that.
Okay.
I watched all of The Medical Police.
Have not seen that.
It's great.
No.
Rob Hubel.
Okay.
It's from the guys that did Children's Hospital
Okay.
on Adult Swim. So funny. So high budget. David Wayne. It's really good.
I like David Wayne a lot.
It's really good. So binge watch that. It's like 8 episodes. It's like dumb comedy, but it's done in a really expensive way, which I love. I love it when they can dump just like a ton, like this huge budget on this like action movie quality, but it's like the jokes are really silly.
Lowbrow.
It's great.
And like,
so it's like lowbrow, but then they spent like so much money to make this. You're just like, you have to appreciate the amount that they spent just for this dumb gag.
Yeah, just to execute a really dumb joke.
Yep.
Yeah, I do have a respect for that. I really like. It's old news at this point, but I'm dying for another season of I Think You Should Leave.
So I get frustrated when I don't have a new season of a show that I love so much, and there weren't enough episodes of that. Like,
no,
it was
at
too
all.
short.
Way too short.
Like a traditional television, like what you saw me watching before, which was a great episode of Castle or a classic Murder, She Wrote. Those TV shows on network had 22 episodes for one season. Mm-hmm. And then you watch one of these great shows on Netflix, and it's like, oh, the
5.
episode has 6. 5. You're like, what? That's not a season?
Yeah.
That's nothing.
Well, I did another one, too, is Working Moms. It's a Canadian sitcom. I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Really funny. I love that there's 3 female leads, and they're all funny. They're all really good funny actresses. And I barreled through the 3 seasons. And I loved the show that I rewatched it. And then I was like, come on, this can't be it. There's so many untied storylines.
Yeah.
Then they're like, oh, no, season 4 is coming. winter 2020, meaning like that. And I'm like, what?
Like, what is this, Game of Thrones?
Yeah,
like,
come on.
How much time did it? I mean, I get the Game of Thrones took a while to make. It was real big.
Yeah, it was real big.
You know, you got all these dragons. It's hard to put all these dragons on the television.
I get it. You had to wait for the dragons to grow up. I get it. I get it. Yeah.
It's continuity problems.
But these women are alive right now.
Yeah, they could just be making shows.
Even if they're pregnant, even better.
Yeah.
It works for the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you do lose interest a little bit when a show takes that, at least for me.
Yeah.
Because then sometimes I feel like when it takes that long,
life takes off.
Life takes off
and
without
it could take you someplace else.
Yeah.
You're like, sorry, I'm into the circle right now.
I was just about to be like, I might love Working Moms now and Castle later. I don't know.
Have you never seen Castle?
No, I didn't even know about it until tonight. And I thought it was starring Michael J. Fox, but I realized I don't have my glasses on.
It's a Nathan Fillion, who's wonderful.
Which
Firefly.
we have concluded is jacked Michael J. Fox.
When you see him, you'll think that's a ridiculous thing to say, but
no,
you're right. He has kind of that. He has like 80s Alex P. Keaton hair, but he's just much like I guess just like thicker of a person.
Okay.
He's got like a jaw.
I like that.
And now he's on The Rookie, which is the ABC show, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of a network TV person.
Interesting.
I'm more
network TV nauseates me now.
I'm watching some Blue Bloods on a Friday night. You know, me and Donnie Wahlberg, and some Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck is still in the game.
I have a rich and full life. On Friday nights, I'm watching my Magnum PI, my Blue Bloods, and Hawaii Five-0.
And that's all you need.
Have a nice pizza.
That's it.
Go to bed early.
That's the dream. I'm about to turn 29 next week, and
wow, 29. It's almost all over.
It is almost all over. It's a lot going into your last year of your 20s. Yeah. Now when I do stupid things, I'm just like, all right, we only got a year left to where this is even remotely justifiable. Get your shit together.
I don't even remember my 20s anymore.
I don't.
It's a blur.
I feel like I've been in my 20s for 40 years.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Like even when I was 23, I was like, okay, I'm 50 on the inside. Like, let's just.
It's nice getting older. You definitely care less about
everything.
Lot of stuff.
Everything.
Yeah. Like I can wear a fedora now, and I don't even think twice about it. That's how you know.
That's how you know I'm not in my 20s anymore.
That's how you know you don't care what anybody thinks of you.
Right around 27, 28, I was like, I turned to a friend and I said, "Isn't sitting down great?" And that's how I knew. And then she was like, yeah. Like, sitting is really underrated.
It's the best.
It feels incredible.
I'm like, oh, these chewable one-a-days are delicious.
Delicious. My parents were like, what do you want for Christmas this last Christmas? And I said, I would really love a Dirt Devil. Mm-hmm. And my mom was like, and I was like, I just need a really good vacuum. I need a really good. And that's when I was like, I'm dead inside. Yeah, that's it.
With like a nice long cord.
Yeah, and
I want short cord business.
I want a teapot. I just got an essential oils diffuser.
Nice.
Yeah, I follow. But if I have a late night comedy show, I nap in the green room. I sit out of fights a lot. Things where you're like, that makes me really angry, and then 2 seconds later, you're like, I'm out of breath. Yeah, opt out. That's
unsubscribe.
Unsubscribe. Yeah. You're like, I can't. That's a young woman's game. Yelling about that. Like I can't.
I have a family chat, as many people probably do on their phones. So on my iPhone, there's like a group chat that's like my parents and my two sisters, and it's a lot of my sister's kids and just like my mom texting stuff, and my mom will write specifically to one of the sisters on the group chat. Like instead of writing to that sister, it's to all of us. Yeah. And sometimes it'll be a lot of stuff. And my dad just doesn't want to see all this stuff. And my dad will write, unsubscribe. Which I think is great.
Oh, that's so good. Unsubscribe,
he's over it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's like, what is this? And his phone just starts like blowing up. I'm like, it's just the family. He's like, ugh.
Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, my mom just goes whenever my mom doesn't want to text anymore. She goes, okay, bye-bye, is what she just texts. And she signs every text Karen at the end.
Does she really?
It's her auto signature. It says Karen. Like I wouldn't know that it was
That's
her.
Great.
Yeah. And it adds a weight to everything she says.
I think I saw a little bit of Karen action because you have just came back from a month in Florida.
Yeah, Miami.
So nice.
Yeah.
Where in Florida were you?
Miami.
I didn't even know that. I thought you were just making a sound like Miami.
I am. Miami.
But you were saying Miami?
Miami, okay. Florida, 305. Home of Pitbull. Mr. Worldwide, in case you haven't heard of him.
And your mom's down there.
Mom and dad are down there.
And I think I saw her doing your hair.
Sure, there was one night. Yeah, she was doing my hair. She's a cosmetologist.
Does she do a specific fun style that you don't normally do?
No, she like redid, like I put a little red in and
Okay.
like dark brown, and that was
Nice.
it. Yeah, I just take advantage of having. I
That's
was
fun.
like, you know, I recommend getting a mom who's a cosmetologist.
And
if
you're
you
an
have any control.
only child?
Only child.
That's nice for you.
Rotten.
Yeah,
Spoiled,
you're just
rotten.
spoiled.
No, I'm not at all. Not even a little bit. Yeah, only child. I just when I was home for the entire month, I just felt like I was constantly third wheeling for my parents.
Great.
Yeah, so you learn a lot. Yeah.
You stay home. You don't have to buy any food.
No,
for
it was
like
a
a
nice month. Yeah.
It's just whatever's in the fridge. You're just like, oh, it's like an open buffet here. This is great.
Yeah, and the only turn off is the trade off is I just have to teach my mom how to double click on a mouse 8 times a day. She's like, Brett, and I'm like,
I like to cook for everybody when I'm home. I like to do a lot of.
bake for everyone when I'm home.
What do you bake?
Everything. I baked a bunch of cookies, cheesecakes.
What's your specialty?
I make a double layer cheesecake. So around the holidays, I did.
How do you make cheesecake?
Cheesecake's like
Is that cream cheese?
lots of cream
Just
cheese,
a lot of cream cheese.
lots of sugar. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's a double layer. So I do the top layer is pumpkin pie, and then the bottom layer is cheesecake. So it's like a double. It's pretty good.
And that's a
then-
store-bought crust base?
Nah, it's homemade crust.
Homemade crust. Is
Yeah.
that graham cracker?
Graham crackers and everything. Yeah.
Wow.
Cookie crust. Yeah.
That sounds
None of
great.
that store-bought bullshit. I'm not an authentic woman in a lot of ways, but that is one.
I do apple pie. I used to do apple pie 100% from scratch. I make my own crust. I do the whole thing. You have to use like lard, and it takes forever. And
It
you know
does.
what? Store-bought apple pie crust is great.
Yeah, it's fine. If it's not the thing you want to dedicate time to, it's not.
I did it for a while. And I'm like, this is such a waste
It's a
of time.
time. Yeah, it's so true. It is.
It's such a waste.
And then you don't even want to eat it. at
Doing
the
your
end
own
either.
apples. You got to do your own apples.
Yes, you do.
So you peel the apples. I have an apple peeler core that I use. And then you got to do the whole with the seasonings, and that's fun. And then we dump Grand Marnier into it. The families, they dump in the booze and the Grand.
They do the whole thing all
The whole thing is soaked in alcohol.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's interesting because it's like I really do like to bake, but when I'm not in the mood to bake, it's evidently clear because somewhere along the line the recipe gets just a little fucked up, like a little bit. Yeah.
You're like, oh, I forgot that one thing. I always, when I do anything, I'm more of I like to cook. I don't like to bake because I'll forget that thing you need, like baking powder.
Yeah.
Or salt.
Or you'll put baking soda instead of baking powder, and then you can't figure out why like the whole cake is inverted or whatever, and you're like, oh, there you go. A couple years ago, my mom is an incredible cook, hates baking. She's the store-bought one, and I'm like, no. And we were at Thanksgiving, my whole family in Jersey. They flew up. And we were doing, she had this whole pumpkin muffin something recipe.
Pumpkin muffins are great.
Muffin, it was supposed to be. But she doesn't have the precision for baking. I feel like cooking's more like intuitive.
Yeah.
Like, okay, put a little more. And she just goes, we're making it. I go, where's the recipe? And she's like, it's up here.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not valid. Where's the recipe? So she goes, it's 2 eggs. And then she goes, there are 3. And I'm like, Mom.
Eggs are important.
Eggs are important. We can't kind of fuck this up. And, so I'm going, this is going to be a disaster. And sure enough, it was.
Yeah.
And it was like the laughing stuff. Like they were like a pasty, they tasted like pumpkin Play-Doh is what they came out and tasted like. But then my family's full of jokesters. So as people started trickling in for Thanksgiving weekend, we were like, have you tried Aunt Karen's muffins? And they were like, no. And we were like, oh my God, they came out so good.
So good.
And then filming everyone's reaction as they take the first bite and they go, what the fuck?
They lose a tooth.
Yeah, it's stuck to the roof of their mouth.
Yeah.
Filming,
do you have a awkward or cringeworthy story?
I mean, where to begin?
Something recent, and it doesn't have to be like horribly deep. Have you fallen down recently?
It happens to me so much. I've fallen and I can't get up. It happens to me so much that I don't even know where to begin. I had a recent story, a celebrity story I can tell you. That actually just came to my mind. I haven't told it in years. I used to work in the music business, right? And when I was an assistant, I worked this premiere party. They had me working after work and just checking people in. Wristbands, all that kind of stuff. And I was sick as a dog over it. Like didn't want to be there. Was really, really sick that night, I remember. But my boss sent me to work for an extra 2 or 3 hours. And there's some famous people, some people that I recognize, and I'm checking them in. I'm like dejected. And all of a sudden, I think the event's underway and the checking in is done, and in comes Robert De Niro. He comes at the check-in table, and
the Irishman.
The Irishman, yeah. He's not Italian at all. He's Irish. You know, in real life.
Is he?
Yeah. Someone told me that. Biggest letdown of my entire life.
Interesting.
Anywho, I digress. There was free candy at this event. I was slouched over, like snot hanging out of my nose, so sick. I had a mouthful of peanut M&Ms. And Robert De Niro goes, hello, at the table. And I go, and he goes, have you seen my wife? And I said, I don't know your wife. And he went, and walked in.
Who is his wife?
I don't know who his wife was at the time. I still don't know who his wife was. But it's very funny that it's like the biggest movie star in the world.
And
there was
you
like
did not have the answer for
snot
him.
and peanut M&Ms. And I didn't give a fuck like at all. And he assumed I would know who he was, which is really funny.
That was your big break.
And I missed it. And that's you know, why I'm a stand-up comedian and not an actress. No. But I just think it's so funny that he goes, hello. And I go, and he goes, have you seen my wife?
Have you seen my wife?
And I go, I don't know your wife. And
I think
goes,
it's a funny typical old man question to ask a stranger. Like, do you know where am I supposed to be?
Do you have my wife has my wallet? Where is she? Yeah. So
when I was working,
I guess that's not that awkward.
No,
but
it's fine.
Funny.
It's funny.
You know, yeah.
When I was working at Letterman, when I first moved to the city, I worked in the audience department, and I dealt with the audience, but also I would sometimes deal with guests and stuff. So it was like people would come in, they would get out of their cars, and I was on the street corner, and there was the stage door, which was beyond the Hello Deli where Rupert G used to be, and I was dealing with like a line of people, and this big black SUV came out, and it stopped, and the door opened, and it was who was I would say Maria Branford, but it wasn't Maria Branford. Who am I thinking of? It was Amy Sedaris. Amy Sedaris gets out with this big poofy dress, and she's very, very tiny. She's about your height or
really?
shorter.
I didn't know.
She got into his lunch. She goes, "Am I supposed to be talking to you?" And I was like, "Hello." I don't think so, but I'm gonna find someone who you are supposed to talk to. And she was like, "Okay." She was like, "Hello, am I supposed to be talking to you?" I'm like, "Hello, Amy Sedaris." No, but let me get someone for you.
That's funny.
It was just like she was so delightful and friendly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, hello, stranger with a clipboard. You look like you work here. And I'm like, I guess I'm kind of authoritative with my clipboard. This is me. I'm like 23.
Yeah, people think clipboards have the answers of the world. You see someone with the clipboard.
I'm a 23-year-old, probably wearing cargo shorts.
We love it.
with my little clipboard.
Yeah.
It was fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Truly, Marty, I just feel like so many awkward. Not a lot embarrasses me. It takes like a lot for me to really be like humiliated. So for like, which is probably.
So tell me about the show. What's going to be on the show on the 31st at Caveat?
Oh yeah.
Violently Funny.
Yeah.
And it's you and what is your partner's name on the?
Onika McLean.
Onika McLean.
Yeah.
And she also does stand up?
Yeah.
And it's going to be you two hosting.
Yes. Yeah.
And then how many guests?
Oh, so we have a whole variety show planned for everybody.
Tell me about the variety show.
Oh, I would love to.
Okay.
It's me and Onika bullshitting up at the top, which is how every episode begins. It's just us yelling at each other and riffing off each other for about 15 to 20 minutes and catching up. We have someone from a portion of the proceeds for the show are going to Safe Horizon, where we met.
Okay.
DV leading nonprofit in the country as well too. Someone from Safe Horizon is going to talk, so we're going to do a brief interview with them about just like a normal podcast recording, like a live recording. And then the show gets fun. And then we have a panel of comedians who also identify as survivors. And we're going to all go around and tell a joke that we've written about domestic violence. Because we all have them. And we can't quite, you just can't always, like, I don't know if I'll be able to tell those jokes tonight.
What's a typical domestic violence joke? Is it like something like looking at the bright side of
or about
very
retelling
traumatic thing?
Retelling your experience, but doing it in a funny way because you're a comedian, so you see everything through a it's jokeable way. Like I have all this stuff about how I like older men and I like angry men that I can fight. I like really fighting with my boyfriends. So I have some like the punchlines like I have a black belt in white men and stuff like that. Yeah, and like stuff like that, or like when you meet someone named Brittany, you either want to take him to the mall or punch him in the face. If you're my ex-boyfriend, you got to do both.
Oh.
Lucky guy. Yeah, I know. It gets but I love it. I love that joke,
It's empowering.
It is. It's
Well, you're taking it back.
Yeah. It's something about
because I saw something And I just love that I'm just talking all over you. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, no.
And I saw something on Instagram where you were documenting re-upping a restraining order.
I was.
So
I got denied, but that's okay. The system beat me.
They can deny you
Yeah.
to re-up a restraining order?
Yeah, because it was
Is it a yearly thing?
It varies. Mine was 2 years, and
Okay.
I thought I was being proactive and just being like, I don't want him bothering me. Not that I even think he would.
So
but,
you were doing it before it ran out?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I spent a whole day at court.
So then they said you have to wait until it runs out.
No, they just said no to extending it completely.
They said, we say you are fine now.
Yeah, and that he did nothing wrong. To which I said to the male judge, tiny penis you have. You have a tiny, tiny penis.
Wow.
No, I didn't. I almost did, though. But
that seems like a broken system.
it was a little bit broken.
Yeah.
And he said, I don't know, Miss Brave, he hasn't done anything wrong. And I was like, that's a big statement.
Is there a time amount where he has to do something for it to get reapplied?
That would be the ideal case.
Yeah.
Hey, can you just come and hit me one more time so I have a reason? Just pull my hair a little bit. No, I'm kidding. It's just the logic contradicts itself.
Yeah, it does.
Because it was like, well, he hasn't done anything wrong, and he didn't. And I'm like, well, because he couldn't. He had a restraining order
Exactly.
for 2 years. Like, so kudos to him for following the rules.
Right.
Once in his life.
Right, and then since he did nothing in 2 years because he wasn't legally allowed to come near you, now it expires.
Yeah.
And now we hope for the best.
That's exactly what he said. I said, but what happened? He goes, I don't know. I can't control what happens out there.
Wow.
And I was like, a plague on both your houses. And I stormed out of the courtroom.
Good.
Yeah, I was like, this is an outrage.
That is an outrage. That doesn't really make. That's a little backwards.
It's like crazy. It's crazy too when you go to get a restraining order. There's like a lot. I think it's because the system is so saturated too.
Yeah.
And I get it. There's like a girl next to me, and she's like, "You're getting a restraining order." It's like deep in Brooklyn, the courthouse, and I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "I'm getting one because my ex-boyfriend is dating a new bitch, and I'm gonna get a restraining order on his new bitch so I could go and beat her up, and she can't do nothing about it." And then I was like, "What?" And she's
That's
like,
logic.
"Yeah." And she's like, "Why are you getting one?" And I was like, "It's not the same.
No.
It's just a different situation."
Yeah.
That
was less. There's less conniving planning.
Yeah.
Forward thinking.
Yeah.
Of what the plan. She was kind of playing a chess match.
A little bit. Yeah. That's like I could see how that's bending the law a little.
She had a couple of moves planned.
It was very funny to see her walk out of the courtroom though and go, "I didn't get it. Fuck." And then I walk and I was like, she looked at me initially and she was like, "Good luck." This is like years ago, and I was like, "Oh, fingers crossed, fingers crossed."
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was I wanted to try and keep him. Restraining orders are like blocking people IRL.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I wanted to kind of keep that.
Yeah.
But it's okay. But yeah, panel of comedians that all identify as survivors telling jokes. We're going to answer dating questions from the audience too. It'll be funny.
That's great. Are you going to have any giveaways?
+1 vibrators.
Going to have some vibrators there at the live event. All right.
And live music. We have a musician, a soul singer. She wrote an entire EP chronicling an abusive relationship from like start to exit. And she's very talented, so she's going to close the show with an acoustic set.
That sounds great.
It's a little bit of everything. It's going to be a really fun night.
So everybody needs to come out to Caveat on January 31st. What time? 7?
7 to 8:30.
7 to 8:30. Is that a Friday?
Friday night.
Friday night.
No excuse, man.
Yeah, you need plans. Friday night, go to Caveat's website to get tickets.
Yep.
And do you have a Violently Funny website?
Yeah, we do. Well, it's Violently Funny on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, SoundCloud, Instagram.
Anywhere you get podcasts. Is it at Violently Funny on Instagram?
Yep, at Violently Funny
Nicely
Podcast.
done.
Yeah. And if you're in New York at any given moment in a comedy scene, you'll see me and Onika screaming. Close enough. So we're a loud
Well, I
pair.
look forward to seeing you guys screaming at each other in real life on the 31st.
Yes.
I'm going to come out.
We are our own abusive relationship. We joke about it all the time. We're like, this is a little toxic, but we love it.
And where do you usually do you do Old Man Hustle a lot for stand-up comedy?
Sometimes. Yeah, I'm all over. I'm at Caroline's a lot lately.
That's great.
Greenwich Village Comedy Club.
Have you been to
Broadway.
the new Eastville Comedy Club
I
in
have.
Brooklyn?
It's very nice.
Is it?
Yeah.
I saw it when it was closed, and I kind of peeked in, and I was like, oh, that looks good.
Yeah.
They did the tile the same way.
It's nice. It's very nice. I don't know. I'm all over. I'm at Broadway a lot. Caroline's a lot.
Where can people see your schedule for stand-up?
BrittanyBrave.com, baby. She finally got a website.
That's great.
I consider myself someone who has her shit very together, but it took me so long to get a comedy website, almost 2 years.
And
it just was like,
also just follow you. Is it at Brittany Brave on Instagram?
Yeah.
And you put stuff up on the Instagram stories a lot all the time.
I do. I try to be. I'm trying to create content for the kids.
This is great.
I'm willing to hurt myself for a good TikTok video.
Are you on the TikTok?
I just figured it out, and I have a seizure every time I log in. I can't figure it. It's
isn't it just Vine from 15 years ago?
It's like Vine meets Snapchat.
Yeah, it's everything in one. And how long are the videos on TikTok?
I think they're like still upwards of like a minute.
Okay.
Everyone, adult and teens alike, look like they just sniffed a lot of glue before they went on TikTok.
That's like the.
Truly.
That's the attention span now for any consumption of content. It's like 1 minute.
Yeah. That's it.
Give me your best shot. You have 1 minute.
1 minute. Yeah. That's it. Really, you've got like 30 seconds. Because about halfway through that minute, I figured out if I like you or
You're
not.
like, I'm done.
Yeah. It's so
30
funny
seconds.
with stand-up, too. You feel it immediately. Like,
Yeah.
you just lose them so easily. Even if collectively you have a really good set. You're
Yeah.
like, that's it? That's all it...
all
She's
I
on her
get.
phone. Fuck her. That's it. Okay. Yeah.
Phones have to be just the bane of the existence of comedians. You're just like, they're checking their email.
Yeah.
Like, you can see that glowing screen from the stage. You're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I wish there was a thing where it like just deactivated everything in like a little zone.
That would be really
So you
nice.
could just watch. Because they do that thing where they put the phones in the little bags.
At the cellar, they do, I think.
Do
yeah,
that. That's smart.
Yeah, that is smart, and it forces you to pay
Yeah.
pay attention. Or I just feel like too, a lot of people. Sometimes it's not malintent, but they just feel like they need to capture it at concerts too.
Yeah.
and it's like, or just capture it here.
Yeah.
the original way.
I had to tell someone to stop recording at a guaranteed delivery show, and she didn't mean anything by it.
No, I'm sure.
She didn't even understand what I was asking her. I was like, you can't. I'm like, please stop recording. Like, the comedian didn't say anything. And I was like, can you please stop recording? And she was like, what? And I'm like, you had to stop recording.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay. Like,
Yeah.
like she had no idea why I was talking to her. Like, no one even gets it. Like,
Yeah.
at all.
Or
And I was like, ugh.
I've even been on shows too that record it, and they're like, sometimes it's professionally recorded, and they're like, can we just upload this? And I'm like, or when people do it on Instagram, that's also frustrating for a comedian if something's on the newer side. I actually think I saw Aparna Nancherla tweet something about this like a while ago. That she was like, please, if you come to a show of mine, do not record.
Yeah.
Like, actually record it and put it on your Instagram story.
Right.
Sometimes stuff is new and I'm not entirely comfortable with it yet, and then it's out there.
Yeah.
You know, that's annoying. It's very annoying.
Anytime I promote the guaranteed delivery show on Instagram, I always do sound off.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like you see them on stage. Hey, they're on stage. They're moving around. They're doing stuff.
Yeah.
You can't capture the whole joke on whatever 10 seconds it is anyway.
No,
So
no.
turn off the sound.
Yeah.
We have a nice little boomerang of someone be doing something funny on stage. That's fine.
That's it.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
If you want to see them do the jokes, just go see a show
Yeah. Yeah.
or watch them on Netflix.
I just even too. It's, you know, there's so many things about comedy shows just consumed differently. People just show up and just don't laugh too, and you just see it the entire show. Like not only you're just like, why are you here?
Yeah.
Did you lose a bet?
Yeah.
Like, did you why? I'd rather you not.
Yeah, just don't even be here.
I'd rather a crowd of 4 people, but they're
Yeah.
like really want to see New York comedy.
That's definitely
and,
true. I've been to a tiny show, and it was a great crowd.
Yeah.
And I've been to shows that have been packed with people, and they were horrible.
Preposterous, awful. Yeah. I've done like a room of 300. I remember my worst bomb, and I love Broadway comedy club. My worst bomb was like, it was a sold out show on a Saturday, 300, and they were just so drunk by the time I went on stage. No fault of Broadway. It was just, you know, what it was.
Yeah.
And then I had a spot right after in like a Bushwick laundromat, I think, for like 8 people. And they're fans now that will come to a show. And I'm like, isn't that funny how it works?
Yeah.
It's just, you know.
Because some of those small shows, you can make such a connection with the crowd where they're like, oh, I love this person.
Yeah, especially if you get good at, that's a show good for crowd work too.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if they want to really hear your setup punch.
Yeah.
They're close enough. You might as well let them know who Brittany is at that point.
There's a
and,
great
like,
show
you know.
in Fort Greene at Hungry Ghost Coffee Shop. It's Keenan Steiner's show.
Keenan's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Keenan.
It's called Comedy at the Corner, and he does it, I think, twice a month.
That is his show.
And it's a teeny weeny coffee shop.
Love
and
it.
They keep it open late just for the show. It usually closes earlier. And then they like serve beer just for the show. And it's tiny, but like the crowd is like fun.
Yeah.
they don't need a ton of people to make it like a good crowd. And I've seen he had like Ted Alexandro there.
Nice.
He had Rosebud Baker there.
Nice.
Like
Yeah,
he pulls in like some talent. And I think it's like a $5 donation. And I'm just like, and it's so close to me that I come out just because I'm like,
Well, it's right there. Why not?
There's a couple of shows where I'll always go. Like, I'll always go to Union Hall for Picture This, which is a great show. Jason Chatfield and Ian Fidance.
Nice.
And Littlefield sometimes, but I still need to go to Butterboy. And what's the one? Cherry Tree Bar.
Yeah.
Has the best back room for comedy. And you can do the Bad News show, which is run by Carmen Lagala. And then you can do Thursdays Airplane Mode, and that's
Airplane Mode is
Jeffrey
good.
Asmus.
Yeah, and also Black Guys, Tyler Richardson.
Tyler Richardson,
who I love. I've done that
funny.
show many times.
He's
Very
so
fun
funny.
show.
Yeah, that Saturday's at Cherry Tree once a month.
Yeah.
But that place is so much fun, and it's like small, but you can get pizza, and it's like the great like classic brick back wall, you know, like comedy wall.
Yeah.
And like has this like deep red spotlight.
You can't put comedy everywhere. It's not like music where people are like, "Oh my god, beautiful acoustic singer-songwriter," you know? So it's like you really the conditions have to be right.
Yeah.
Like the random things could take somebody out of a comedy show that you don't even know.
Yeah.
Like it's like even like Greenwich Village Comedy Club, I've always had a good time there. And I think it's the way the room is set up.
Yeah.
It's an older club, but it's like low ceilings, dim lighting.
You need to have like this intimacy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got to feel like they're in it with you. Yeah, I've done apartment shows. Some apartment shows are so fun too.
Yeah.
People are just like sitting around getting high, having a beer.
Yeah.
On and you're like, oh, I can actually really maybe like try some new stuff and like lean into it here with people
Because they're open.
They're open.
They have no expectations.
No.
Yeah.
It's like an interesting thing as a young comedian to be like, how do I prepare this for when I'm older? And knock on wood, playing bigger venues, theaters. And
New
wood. That's what I call the guy that I just started dating. Hey.
Oh my.
No, I'm not dating anyone. No time. And no time and no interest from anyone. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. How do you prepare as a young comedian for your like you get good at the laundromat shows and the intimate pizzeria shows, and then it's like that incremental. So if you could do that, then how do you capture that feeling in a room of 300 or in a theater, and how do you
That's the real test of like
That's
that next
the
step
test.
where it's like, you can kill for 25 people, but then they throw you in
300
Radio City, and can you how do you handle that kind of a crowd?
Right.
Can you hold your shit together?
A good joke can travel throughout a big enough venue like that. Yeah, but then also sometimes too, big crowds, when they're the right crowd, sometimes when they're bigger, there's a natural good energy because it's a big show.
They're excited.
They're excited. They're
ready.
like, oh, a ton of people are here. We're in it. Yeah.
They are there to laugh.
Yes, exactly.
Like when you have a crowd that's there to laugh, that's a great audience member.
Exactly. I've also had really small crowds too, where you could tell the fact that it was a small crowd was like detrimental. Like the people that were there were like, why is there only 10 people here? And then like that too. So
it's like being at a restaurant when you're the only person at the restaurant.
Yeah,
like,
and
is
then
this food going to kill me?
Yeah. At least at the restaurant, you have Yelp you can hop on and be like, is this what's someone died of food poisoning last month? Yeah. So it's interesting. It's all a learning process.
This is exciting. So how many minutes are you doing tonight at Old Man Hustle?
I think 8. That feels right.
Okay.
8
and you have it all in your head already? You know what you're going to do?
I'm doing all new stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's fun.
I gotta get the new jokes up to snuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So work them out. Work out the wordage.
Yes. Yeah. We're working. There's something there.
There's
is
something there.
what you always tell her. There's something there.
Got to find that twist.
Yeah, I did a lot of writing while I was home, and I didn't get on stage at all for a month. So a lot of this last week has been like
it's going up,
getting back into it, and now I feel more into like a groove. But it's all new stuff. It's all that stuff that I spent writing and in my head for the last month that I'm just like, is there something here?
Is this anything?
Is this anything?
Is this something? Maybe.
Yeah, I'd like to have another 15 to 20 in the next month or so.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited about the show. It's violently funny.
Yeah.
It's a podcast. It's a live show on the 31st of January at Caveat. So get tickets to go see Brittany there or at Old Man Hustle or the multitude of places at BrittanyBrave.com. Follow you at Brittany Brave on Instagram and Twitter.
I'm on Twitter. Brit Brave.
Brit Brave on Twitter.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming on Talkward.
Thank you for having me, Marty. And I broke in the new desk.
Broken the new desk.
Yes.
We'll see if it all falls down. I made this desk. You can still smell the stain. I've been in here all day just getting high.
Smells like a Pier 1.
It does smell like a Pier 1.
Yeah.
The Pier 1 imports.
It's comforting.
It's comforting. Until you fall over.
Yeah. It's comforting, and also my head's spinning. No
Yeah,
kidding.
kind of. I kind of have a headache. That's okay. Everybody kind of has a headache after listening to my podcast.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah. So follow the podcast online
Yeah.
at Talkward Podcast, and follow Weekly Humorist at Weekly Humorist. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Brittany Brave.